Alright, YouTubers, all you guys, if anybody wants to follow along, this is an old CJ chassis, belongs to a friend of mine, with a YJ tub on it. He did some damage to the original CJ tub, and this is the replacement that he got. Now, anybody that's done this before knows there's a few things that don't fit, they don't line up right away. They require some modifications. This tub is in great shape, and this swap is going to have a CJ dash in it though. Dashboard's all back together. Regular old school CJ dash. The issues are many when you do these conversions. They're not just simply bolted on. So what I've set up on top here right now is an old CJ windshield frame that I have. Holes up underneath for the defroster to go through. Now on the YJ, the defrost comes up this section here using a big piece like this. And this piece attaches like so at the profile where it lands up top here. It doesn't blow into the windshield frame, it blows into the dashboard. The issue is on a CJ, they blow into the windshield frame. Now that'd be all easy to do if I was going to use a YJ dash. The YJ dashboard, this is an old one over here. This YJ dashboard, you can see the vents and how they attach on the back side right here. That's the top of the dash, just to give you perspective. I don't want to have that big dashboard piece on top of this nice YJ dash, so we're going to modify the tub. This section where it's indented in here, in order to accommodate that duct, we're going to open up these holes and move this out so that when the windshield sits on it with the the CJ style seal, like the cowl seal, that the air will be forced up into it. Now I'm not using this CJ windshield frame. I want to be able to keep the roll bar attachments of the YJ frame, and I have a YJ windshield frame down here on the floor which has a decent rust-free condition. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut the holes in the bottom in the spots where they would be if this was a CJ windshield frame. And we're going to cut the slots in here in the same position they would be if this was a CJ frame. Put the little plastic louvers on it. So then we will keep the more effective motor and windshield wiper linkage that is part of the YJ frame. And we will keep the mounts for the roll bar. And we will keep the profile, the hinges and all that other stuff, and the better seal of the YJ windows. Anybody that's worked on these knows that the YJ window gets glued in, and a lot of the old CJ windows, just a rubber seal when they leak. Not that it matters, it's a Jeep. The other thing that we did up on top here, this is where it gets a little tricky. On the CJ, I have one here. On the CJ, there's a large space here, smaller grill, and the windshield washer fluid port, whatever you want to call it, squirters. They sit a little distance off of the face of the windshield here. That's mounted underneath. There's a little elbow tube, and that little tube has to have room for the the hose that goes to it. The YJ, if you're familiar with them, they run a dual washer system here. They have one on each side. Without actually modifying too much, we've kept the YJ grill, which is much bigger, which pushes this thing way back. So now I got to adjust it. This is a summertime rig. This thing's not driving in the winter, so before you freak out that the washer's going to be useless, it's going to squirt. It's good enough to keep the I guess the authorities, whoever else would want to actually see it work. It'll work for that. It would work in the summer. It's not going to be useful for anything beyond that. But we had to move it way back. I welded in two little patches underneath and then built it up with just a tiny bit of Bondo. We'll come back and finish dressing that afterwards, just to hide the original holes from the YJ. But that's a CJ piece up there. The tube that I'm talking about comes out on a 90-degree angle. But to fit in the YJ tub, we were forced to use the YJ airbox at the top. But then, to make this really handy and work nice, I want to use the tub, or sorry, not the tub, the airbox from the other Jeep. The issue is, on the CJs, the motor has the connection on the back, which sticks out into the firewall. On the YJ, it's typically just a wire with a plug on it, and it connects on the inside of the tub. Sometimes on the outside, depends on the years, everything's different. But this tub did not have the hole for the spade connector to come through, so that's a simple hole saw. Trim it, the gasket's already on it, on the motor we decided to use, and that'll make that work. So the holes are cut and simulate the way the old CJ windshield frame was vented. I took the center brace out of this so I could squeeze it in just a bit, and that's how it fits in there. And this way here, this top light for the heater controls was getting pushed on by the other ductwork. Things just wouldn't fit. This is how this is profiled. This is the original CJ duct. This stuff's all the same size, just shorter on the CJ because this part's, or sorry, the YJ is a bigger plastic piece. So when I come back to this now, I set the windshield frame on top with the old cowl seal, and it will allow the air into the windshield frame. So that's the first step of this. Now we're going to put the cables back on for the airbox and put this dashboard back in place before it gets wrecked. And that'll be it for the conversion for this portion of the tub. What we're looking at here is the corner of the dashboard. So the YJ and the CJ actually have a different spacing from the bolts that hold the windshield down. There's like a tab that sits over top of this that holds the windshield when you have it upright. So that tab requires that a threaded bolt goes through this hole. Now this being a CJ dash, the holes are about 1.5 inches closer together. They're a little over 1 inch, sorry. And the YJ, they spread it out just a bit. So I don't want to reinvent the wheel here and move this threaded lug. That's a lot of work. This is going to be covered by that tab anyhow. I want to use a windshield frame from a YJ, so that tab in the YJ windshield will be positioned for this threaded hole. I'm going to block this out, re-drill a new hole right beside it, so that we can go ahead and keep installing this.